Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Coaching Masters podcast. Now, last week, you had an absolute treat. You had the awesome holistic coach specialist, Diana Carmona, in the house, teaching everybody the ins and outs of holistic coaching. Now, I listened to that episode. It was phenomenal. There was great information in there. It had the right, amazing, incredible feminine energy that we really need to balance out the very masculine, boom, 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 go, go, go energy I tend to bring to this podcast. So I think it's a great combination when me and Diana join forces and we do stuff like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed that last week. By the way, if you're listening to this on the podcast and you still don't yet know, I have to let you know that we record these podcast episodes completely 100% live inside of Coaching Mastery, which is the Coaching Masters own completely free, completely open community for everybody, for the general public. So I record these every Thursday at 12 p.m. UK time. Make sure you join that group and you come and watch that happen because it is a really, really, really amazing environment. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about a very interesting topic today, a topic that I think is really important and it's really underutilized and it's not spoken about that much. And I know it's a question that a lot of people have, which is one of the reasons as to why I wanted to address this topic today. In fact, I have come to find out through some very, very interesting software. I've come to find out that this is actually one of the most Googled search terms when it comes to online coaching or having an online coaching business or being an online coach. This is one of the most Googled terms. How much does it cost to start a life coaching business? That is the question that we're breaking down today. How much does it cost to start a life coaching business? Now, what I find really, really interesting about this question is I can imagine that when people are typing this question into Google, then naturally what they're looking for is they're looking for an amount of money, right? That's going to be initially the thing that they're thinking about. How much money do I need to spend in order to start a life coaching business? Now, we are going to talk about that. But before we talk about that, what I want to do is I want to address what I believe is a much more important question, which is how much does it cost not to start a life coaching business? And you might think, well, what do you mean by that? If I don't start a life coaching business, it's not going to cost me anything. But that's not true, because when we say that something costs something, right, we're not just talking about money. We're actually talking about three very significant things. We're talking about money, we're talking about time, we're talking about energy, okay? Money, time, energy. When something costs a certain amount, it doesn't necessarily mean that it costs a certain amount of money. It can cost some of your time. It can cost some of your energy. There's other things as well that it could cost. It could cost some of your self-respect. It could cost some of your self-love. It could cost some of your focus. It could cost some of your discipline. It could cost relationships. Let's think about that for a minute. When that question is being put into Google, and it's one of the most Googled search terms in the world at the moment when it comes to coaching businesses, how much does it cost to start a life coaching business? I want to break down all the costs. I don't want to just break down the money. I want to break down the cost in energy, the cost in time, the cost in focus, and of course, the cost in money as well. So how much does it cost not to start a life coaching business? Well, the answer to that question really comes from what is it that you're doing right now as an alternative? Because it completely depends on the situation that you currently find yourself in. When it comes to the Coaching Masters, we have people that join our membership for all sorts of different reasons, right? And they come from all different walks of life, all different places that have had all different types of experiences. And we love that. We love it. It's one of the most significant parts of the Coaching Masters membership and the Coaching Masters community is that we are made up of normal people that want to create something extraordinary, right? Ordinary people that want to create an extraordinary life. But we come from all of these different places, like I was saying a moment ago. I had the pleasure of talking to amazing TCM member Louise Clark today. And Louise Clark has had such an unbelievable backstory of turning her adversity into an asset after having experienced great adversity, and is now being propelled on this journey to genuinely add value to other people's lives and help other people, of which she will undoubtedly help thousands of people. We were just talking about Sandra and Danielle and the other TCM Power Rangers that have just thrown themselves in full force and enrolled onto all Coaching Masters live interactive courses immediately up front. They're going to change so many lives, and they just need to follow the process. So it all comes down to what you're doing at the moment. And like I mentioned before, we've got lots of people in TCM and inside the membership from all walks of life that have had all different types of experiences. Now, there's one thing, this isn't the same for everybody, and it would be too much of a generalization to say this applies to all TCM members or anybody that listens to the TCM podcast or anyone interested in coaching. But there's definitely a common theme, right? The theme that people want to do something more fulfilling. They want to do something that provides them with a higher level of freedom, and whether that be financial freedom, geographical freedom, mental or emotional freedom, spiritual freedom, whatever that kind of freedom is, there's a pattern that has been formed. People that tend to discover TCM have made a decision that what they're currently doing does not provide to them the level of freedom in which they want and or fulfillment. Right? Freedom and fulfillment, the two big F's, the real F words. Okay, if we're talking F words or F bombs, they're the two biggest F bombs that we could be talking about, right? Freedom and fulfillment. These are serious F bombs. So when people join the Coaching Masters community, they tend to be looking for those two things. They want to build more of those two things. They want to create more of those two things. They want to find more freedom and find more fulfillment. And they have an understanding that they can achieve that by adding value to other people's lives in the form of coaching and or course creation, right? So the biggest question really is, how much does it cost not to start a life coaching business? Because if where what you're currently at the moment is somewhere that you don't want to be, somewhere that is zapping your freedom and zapping your fulfillment, what is that costing you? Because that's going to be costing you a hell of a lot. We fall into this pattern of thinking, yeah, but can I really leave this place of work which provides me with this one set income that I get every single month on a monthly basis, and it's predictable, and I see the ladder of potential what's the word? Jesus, I've been out of at that type of employment for so long now, I can't even remember the word. Promotion, right? Ladder of promotion. Yeah, but I see this ladder of promotion, but I know that I've got my set income. I've got these benefits by working at this place. It's very, very secure. But again, that's one element that we're focusing on, which is a monetary element. If you think about that for a moment, that's that out of the things that we spend, money, time, and energy, that's one of them that we're saying, yeah, but this is being protected. One out of three. Now, that job that person finds themselves in might completely be draining their energy to the point where it is making them fucking miserable, right? Now, this isn't that uncommon. This is actually very, very common that people find themselves in a situation where they're working a job that is zapping their energy and zapping their time. But what it's giving them is it's giving them some form of level of security for just one of those elements, which is money. Money, time, energy. Money, time, energy. I just really want you to be thinking about those three things as a trio, right? The three pillars of what are holding us up within modern day society. Money, time, energy. Now, of course, if our money and our time and our energy are all in complete flow with who we are, we're happy with our money, our time, and our energy. We're happy in the way that we spend it. We're happy in the way that we earn it. Then, of course, we're going to feel a level of fulfillment. But so many people fall into that trap and fall into that pattern of sacrificing time and sacrificing energy just to make sure that the money isn't even that they're really fulfilled with the money part, but it's just in a place of safety. Okay. Now, the pandemic of course, there's so many different strings of conversation you can have about the pandemic. But one of the biggest questions that, of course, that has definitely arisen for us is it really that safe? Is it really that safe? There's so many people that have lost their jobs throughout the pandemic. Those jobs that they would have said, yep, I don't enjoy this position. It takes all of my time away from me doing things that I really enjoy. It zaps all of my energy, and I get home after a long shift completely drained, and I can't even be present with my family. I don't have the ability to really look into the eyes of my kids and tell them that I love them and appreciate them and just share in that moment because I'm feeling stressed, I'm feeling tired, I'm feeling down, whilst at the same time still fucking worrying about money, right? So it's not reached any sort of level of fulfillment. And there's the ability that someone can just come and snatch it away from you at any point. Where that job can go, it can disappear. So this is what I want to just try to reframe this question in as many ways as we possibly can. Because when we ask the question, how much does it cost to start a life coaching business? The biggest, glaring, most important question that I'm faced with when I read that is how much does it cost not to start this life coaching business? I mean, we could have that same argument for how much does it cost you not to start that business, any business. But I know the power of the niche. I don't talk about any business. I mean, I'm not talking about starting a plumbing business. I'm not talking about starting a fashion business. I'm not talking about starting a childcare business. I'm talking about starting a coaching business because that is what I do and that is what I help people do. That's my niche. That's my area. That's what the Coaching Masters are all about, right? Naturally, you're listening to the Coaching Masters podcast. I'm always refocusing it back on coaching. So how much does it cost not to start that life coaching business? When the answer actually is, it's going to cost you a hell of a lot of energy. It's going to cost you a hell of a lot of time in order for you to remain in a job, in a position in which the money still hasn't given you a level of fulfillment and it's not even secure. So having said that, we need to really then try to address what are some of the things that we can gain by starting that life coaching business, and they fall into the same categories, right? It falls into getting more of your time back, getting more of your energy back because you're doing something that fulfills you, and then utilizing that time and that energy to add value to people's lives, to create a coaching business that makes you money, because the more value you add to people's lives, the more money you make. I might be seeing this from a very, very unique perspective because I've been on that journey and I've done it, right? We've now got 4 pillars that hold us up: money, time, energy, and health. Let's throw that into the mix. This is what I love about these podcast episodes and doing them live. I love and respect the Coaching Masters community so much. I know that each and every one of you have so much to give, so much knowledge, so much wisdom, so much passion that you can contribute towards this. And I want you to contribute. Monica has just contributed, and she will now send this entire podcast episode in a new direction and a more powerful direction, which is amazing because she's absolutely right. Health, ladies and gentlemen, so many people are sacrificing their health. They're sacrificing their time. They're sacrificing their energy. They're spending those things. Let's make no mistake about it. They're spending those things. You don't just spend money. You spend time. You spend energy. You spend health. And they're spending those things on something they don't really want in order to try to keep this security fence constructed around this pocket of money, which they're not fulfilled with, that isn't even that secure. So it costs people a lot not to start a life coaching business. It costs them a lot, right? If indeed what they're doing doesn't fulfill them, which this is the story that I'm hearing all of the time. So really, this boils down to just a few very, very significant questions, right? One of the most powerful coaching questions that there is what do you want? Right? It's very simple. What do you want? It's just 4 words. What do you want? Now, the reason why that is a very, very powerful coaching question is because that is a question that does not get asked that much in everyday life. Often, most people will be speaking about what's going wrong, why they feel down, why things aren't working out, why things are in the shit, right? We hear this all the time. This is the conversation. Why things are in the shit, why things are not good, why the weather's really bad, why this person's really mean, why this never worked out. I had more potential and I never lived up to it. Blah, 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 blah. Down, 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 down. And a lot of the time that is the conversation. And often when having a conversation with someone, when the energy is just being brought down, down, and down, most people are just throwing fuel on the fire by engaging in that level of conversation because it's the least awkward thing to do, right? Someone walks into the room and goes, oh, it's fucking raining again today. The easiest thing to do is go, oh yeah, I know, shit, and yesterday, right? That's a lot easier than going, yeah, but what if you were to consider if we were in the middle of a drought and we were praying for rain? Because some people are experiencing that right now. And actually that stuff out there that's falling out the sky is a fucking blessing. How about you try to see that as a blessing and go and dance in it, see what happens? That is a lot more awkward to do that than just to go, yeah, I know, fucking rain. So it becomes this collective consciousness of negative conversation, right? That's what happens, is that collective consciousness of negative conversation snowballs itself until all of a sudden the energy of the entire room and eventually the energy of the entire fucking country and maybe even the world are on this horrible snowball and they're being taken in all of these really negative directions. So we derail that snowball. We derail it by saying, well, what do you want? i.e., you've presented a problem, okay? Now, instead of just engaging with you on a level of conversation where I'm just going to throw fuel on the fire of that problem, I'm going to engage in a way that is going to take that problem, turn it into a solution, and focus on the future. So you've told me what you don't want, right? That's cool. That's great. I understand that. What do you want, right? Not what you don't want. What do you want? Now, the reason why I'm talking about this question right now is this is actually a really important question. When it comes to that most Googled search term, how much does it cost in order to build a life coaching business? Well, before we give any kind of monetary value on that, or time value, or energy value, or health value, let's ask the question, well, what do you want? Because not every coaching business is built the same, okay? Not every coaching business is equal in that sense. They're fluid. They can be changed. They can be altered. There are different sizes of coaching businesses that do different things, that help different people, that have different purposes and different missions. And that has to come from you. The coaching business that Dr. Joe is building will be different to the coaching business that Rachel is building, that Monica is building, that Kay is building, that Nikki is building. They're going to be different, right? And that's a good thing. We want them to be different because we want them to be unique. Because why are diamonds expensive? Because they're unique, right? They're all different. They're all individual. There are many other reasons as well, but that's one of the reasons. Now, we want your coaching business to be unique, but you first must know what you want to build. Now, I knew, and Lewis knew in the early days of us building our coaching businesses, that we wanted to build a huge, significant, world-changing, worldwide coaching organization. Not everybody wants to do that. Okay, that's not on everybody's agenda or bucket list. It may be on yours, but your coaching business may be, look, I want to build a coaching business which just allows me to replace the income that I've currently got coming in from this job, just so that I can make that same level of income, just doing something that I choose to do rather than doing something that I'm being told to do. Okay, now let me give you a little insight. When I was a postman, when I was a full-time Royal Mail postman, I made £267 a week, okay? £267 a week. And £167 was my rent and council tax. So I had 100 quid, okay? 100 quid to spend on bills and food. So I had to try to split my bills and food into roughly about a 50-50 split, okay? Now, when I first started my coaching business, my initial goal was all I want to do is be able to replace that 267 quid that I get from being a postman with coaching sessions, okay? Now, naturally, of course, as you grow and as you achieve those goals, you look to the next goal and the next goal and the next goal. And now, naturally, my goal isn't to make £267 a week. But back then that was all I wanted, was to just replace that postman income. And if I could do that by just doing a couple of coaching sessions a week, I'd put myself in such an amazing place because I was working every day, delivering the mail to make that. And if I could make that same amount of money, which I was already used to living within those means, but instead only deliver a couple of coaching sessions a week, I was all about that. I wanted to do that. Now, naturally, that kind of coaching business costs a certain amount of money, time, energy, and health, right? Not a lot. It didn't cost a lot of money, time, energy, and health in order to get to the point where I'm just making, £267 a week as a coach. The coaching business that I've currently got, which is the Coaching Masters, which now turns over millions of dollars a year, that has costed a certain amount of money, time, energy, and health on a completely different level and on a completely different scale. However, this is the caveat, right? And this is why that one question that people put into Google so much is really difficult to answer in just one succinct way. And we are answering it throughout this session, but I mean, it's, as you can see, I can't answer it in just one answer. The reason as to why it's even more difficult is it gives me so much more time and energy, right, than I had even when I was making £267 a week as a postman. So once again, the whole money, time, energy, and health thing, those things that you spend, right? Those things that, when we say, what does it cost? We have to think about all four of those things. They're not made equal, right? They're really not made equal. So they're not all made equal because, right, all of a sudden, I transition away from being a full-time postman to being a coach, okay? Now, initially, it was going to cost me some money because I needed to become a coach, right? I needed to become a qualified and accredited coach. I needed to grow my coaching business. I needed to do all of the things that you need to do in order to not only know how to coach people, but how to make money as a coach. So it cost me some money. But at the same time, I got a ton of time. What I got in return is I got loads of time, right? All of a sudden, I go from working every single day delivering the mail, and I've got 100% of my time back the moment I quit that job in order to grow this coaching business. So it cost me some money, but it gave me some time. That's why it's not possible to simply answer that question, how much does it cost to start a life coaching business? Because in that instance, if what I was thinking about was time, I would say, well, it didn't cost me anything. It gave me all this time back. It gave me all the time that I was looking for before, right? Now, when it comes to energy, it gave me a lot of energy. My energy was zapped when I was a postman. My energy, to be completely open and transparent, right? And let me know in the comments if you relate to this in any way. I am actually completely unemployable. I am unemployable. And what do I mean by that, right? That doesn't mean I have no skills, I don't have anything to offer. It just means that I, in a place of employment, do not work. It doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit with me. I have to run my own thing. I have to be my own boss. I have to be the one that makes the decision how I work, when I work, who I work with, what I wear to work, all of that stuff, right? That's what I mean when I say I'm unemployable. So out of all of the jobs that I've had, right, when I was a lifeguard, when I was a barman, when I was an estate agent, when I was a mailman, was a full-time postman, out of all of those things, out of all of those jobs that I had, they zapped my energy like you wouldn't believe. They zapped my energy, they zapped my focus, they zapped my health as well. I swear to God, has anybody ever seen on my Instagram account what I looked like when I was a 25-year-old postman compared to what I looked like the day I turned 31? As everyone, go on my Instagram and look for that picture. I was sick as a dog, right? All of the color had drained out of my face. I lost loads of weight. I looked old as hell when I was only 25. I wasn't even a dad at this point, right? And that is because it zapped my energy and my health. It was taking that from me. So once again, right? Once again, when you ask the question, how much does it cost to start a life coaching business? It's not a straightforward answer, because I could say to you, well, you know what? If you stay where you are, it's going to cost you this much health over this many years. It's going to cost you this much energy over this many years, and it's going to cost you the vast majority amount of your time. So then you get to a point where you end at the end of your life, where you look back and you look at all of the days and the hours and the weeks and the months of the years spent in that job that you don't enjoy, that isn't fulfilling you. And by the way, I'm not talking directly to everybody listening to this. This is a generalization, just because this is what I hear a lot when it comes to people that join the Coaching Masters membership, and this is what they want to get away from, right? And I get it, because this was me. And you look back at all of those years and days and months and you think, fuck, what a waste that was. Because I was doing it for one purpose, which was to make this money. And I didn't ever even feel fulfilled with the amount of money I had or secure. So then you got to ask yourself, what the fuck was the point of that? And that is one of my biggest fears, right? Is the idea of getting to the end of my life and looking back and thinking, wow, I spent, now this is, don't forget, this is what you do. I spent so much time doing things I didn't enjoy with people that I didn't want to be around, doing something that unfulfilled me at a place that I didn't want to be in order to get that paycheck at the end of the month, which I was never happy with and didn't ever even make me feel secure. I don't know about you, but that scares the shit out of me, the idea of actually getting to the end of the one life that we have. Now, I'm not going to open up a discussion about afterlife or multiple lives or reincarnation, because, you know, the fact is we don't actually know. We can have beliefs, but they are beliefs at this point, strongly held opinions. They're not fact. So it may be the case, but at the moment, right, as far as we are aware of what is in front of us, there's one of these things. There's one of them. There's one life. And that is significant. That is not something that we want to be taking lightly. There's one. And at some point, it will end. It will end at some point. But even more scary than that, at some point, we are going to be aware that it's about to end. Think about that for a minute. That is a lot more, that fills me with a lot more fear than the idea of my life actually ending, right? That my life actually ending, in many respects, that doesn't fill me with any type of emotion at all. It just feels like a fact of life. But having the understanding that there is going to be a point at some point in my life where I am aware that my life is about to end, right? Whether that be old and grey, laying in my very warm bed, surrounded by my loving family, which fucking hell, I hope it's that, right? I really hope it's that. But, you know, me and my wife watch a lot of murder documentaries. I don't know. I could get murdered tomorrow. Pretty crazy world that we live in. I hope I don't. And, you know, protect yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Use a buddy system. Make sure you look out for each other, whatever. But there will be a time in my life and in your life at some point where we are aware that our life is about to end, right? Unless it's just like you hit by a bus and you didn't even know it happened. But, you know, for the most part, there will be a time where we are aware of that. Now, what I am shit scared of, which I really want to make sure doesn't happen, is that when I'm experiencing that moment in my life where I'm thinking, well, this is it. This is it, Liam. We've hit the end of the road. This is it for us. I want to be able to look back and say, that time, that energy, that health, that focus, that self-love, that self-confidence, that money, you spent that in the right way. You did it right. You did it in a way that was fulfilling, that gave you freedom, that added value to people's lives. You did it in a way that you can be really bloody proud of. Not just because you just went to work every day to just get a paycheck and then it just put the roof over our heads, because that's one element of it. That's one element of it. I want to be able to look back and be proud of all of it. Every single part of it. To be able to say all of that stuff that you spent, the money you spent, the time you spent, the energy you spent, the health that you spent it in the right way because you spent it doing something that you wanted to do that added value to people's lives. Two twin pillars of success. Doing something that you want to do and that you enjoy doing whilst adding massive value to other people's lives. And I swear to God, regardless of whether or not you like your mail turning up on time, and I can talk from the perspective of being a postman, much love and respect to the postman out there, but it wasn't my journey. And hopefully it's yours. And if it's not yours, go and change it. But I swear to God, I'm adding a lot more value to people's lives nowadays than fucking delivering those packages at 6 o'clock in the morning. Because that's okay. I'm not that fussed if my package doesn't turn up on time or if my letter doesn't come through the door. In fact, I actually hate getting letters because, you know, when you get those brown HMRC letters, you're like, oh, Christ, what do you want? Just leave me alone. Just let me go and live my life and add value to people's lives. But anyway, you know, I wasn't really adding value to anyone's life when I was a barman. I wasn't really adding value to anyone's life when I was an estate agent. You know, it's just, and I didn't enjoy those things. I didn't want to do them, but there was one reason why I did them, which was to get a paycheck, which is the fucking same reason why so many people do things that they don't enjoy. So let's go back to this question, okay? Because it's one of the most Googled search terms when it comes to coaching ever, right? So we have to address it. The question being, how much does it cost to start a life coaching business? So as I have already addressed, what I would like everybody to do if you're asking yourself that question is I'd like you to really seriously ask yourself, what are you currently doing right now and what is that costing you? Before we even address what does it cost to start a life coaching business, I would love everybody to think, right? And this goes for all of the listeners out there. Now, of course, I know there are people inside the Coaching Masters community and listening to this podcast and watching this live. You're taking those steps. And you're taking those steps in a big dramatic way because you're studying with the Coaching Masters, who I have no fear in saying are the most dynamic, exciting, electric coaching academy in the world compared to all of those other boring bastards. Right? So you're already taking some massive steps in the right direction. But for everybody listening to this or everybody Googling that, ask yourself, what am I currently doing and how much is that costing me? How much of my health is it costing me? How much of my energy? How much of my time? And is that proportionate to the amount of money that I am getting in return? Now, I can pretty much guarantee one thing. If you're Googling the question, how much does it cost to start a life coaching business? I can pretty much guarantee that whatever it is you're doing right now, the money you're getting for that is not proportionate to the amount of time, energy, and health you're putting into it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be asking yourself that question. Now, in order for the money that you're getting to be proportionate to the amount of time, energy, and health that you're putting into it, that fucking better be a lot of money. A lot, right? Think of what you think is a lot and add another 2 zeros. It better be that at least, because spending your time, your energy, and your health, that's no joke. That's no joke. You're going to get to a point in your life one day where you are about to realize your life's going to end, and you'll realize it's how you spent that time, how you spent that energy, and how you looked after your health that really, truly mattered. Okay? So the energy, the money that you're getting should completely outweigh those 3 things. And if you're Googling that search term, I can pretty much guarantee that's not the case at the moment. So you want to explore the idea of building that coaching business. Now, fortunately for everybody here, the first step that you need to take in terms of a monetary value has a very, 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 very low cost. The Coaching Masters membership is $9.99 a month. Now, the reason I want to talk about this is because we have a mission here at the Coaching Masters, right? Now, you know about our mission. I'm not going to go into it. I did an entire podcast episode about it, so go and listen to that. But we want to make this thing as accessible to everybody as possible because we truly understand the power of coaching. We fully, truly, richly understand the benefits of coaching. So we want to try to create as many coaches as possible in this world because we have an understanding that when people have a coaching skill set and they ask coaching questions and they're able to use different coaching tools and techniques and methods, the world is a better place because it means that people are able to actually have those well-constructed conversations that help people break down their limiting beliefs, achieve their goals, increase their confidence, shift their focus, and do all of the things that are required to then be the type of person that can spend your time and your energy and your health in a very, very, very useful, valuable way. So the more coaches, the better, right? And that doesn't even necessarily mean to be a coach that's running a coaching business to replace the income you've currently got. There are lots of people that join the Coaching Masters membership because they do enjoy what they do, but they want to be able to improve what they do. They want to be able to make it better. There are also lots of people that join TCM purely out of self-development and personal development reasons, right? And as long as we can learn these things and these tools and these techniques, and we can bring them all on and understand them and use them, then the world is going to be a better place. So in terms of the monetary value of that question, how much does it cost to start a life coaching business? The actual answer is $9.99. That's the actual answer. That's $9.99 a month, because that's where you become a Coaching Masters member and you start the journey, right? That's where you begin the journey. That's where you start to learn about what is coaching. How can I become a coach? What are some coaching techniques that I could use if I had a client? How do I get my first client or my first couple of clients? Let me explore the world of neuro-linguistic programming, or let me explore the world of course creation, right? That's where people start the journey. Now, of course, we've got some absolutely incredible people that listen to this podcast and are currently here today watching me record this completely live, who have fully, wholeheartedly taken that to the next journey. We really, really do. If when people Google that question, what they're looking for is an actual monetary amount, the monetary amount is $9.99 in order to get started. But the much, much bigger question is the question of time, energy, and health. That is a much bigger question. How much time will it cost you to build a life coaching business? Well, you've only got to think about how much time is currently being invested in whatever it is you're currently doing at the moment. What is it? What's the standard working week? 40 hours a week or 50 hours a week, something like that. I don't even know what the amount is. But that amount of time at the moment is being invested. So you've got to think about it that way. So in terms of how much will it cost me to start a life coaching business, the time aspect is in the pluses, right? It's in the black, out of the red into the black. Or yeah, that's the way around, right? You're getting more of it. You've got more of it all of a sudden because you have the time that you're able to actually work on that coaching business instead of spending that 40 hours a week doing whatever it is you were doing before. The energy, the cost in energy. Just think about that for a minute. When I was 25 years old and I was a full-time Royal Mail postman, just go and look on my Instagram of the before and after picture compared to then to now. The difference between what I looked like when I was 25 compared to as a postman compared to 31 as a coach and a dad as well. Trust me, my energy is way, way higher. I have got a lot more time for this and a lot more energy put into this than any of the other things that I were doing before, okay? Whether it was when I was a postman, a barman, a lifeguard, an estate agent, whatever it was, right? If that's a question, how much does it cost in order to start a life coaching business? I can say, well, monetary-wise, it's going to cost you $9.99 a month to get started. And time-wise, I'm going to give you a lot back. Energy-wise, I'm going to give you a lot back. And health-wise, of course, depending on what you're doing at the moment, I'm probably more than likely going to give you a lot back as well. Because if you're spending your energy the way that you want, and you're spending the time the way that you want, and you're more focused on developing yourself as a person, then of course, what else is going to happen? Your health is going to improve as well. This is a complete and utter overriding of benefits when it comes to what it costs you. You're in the pluses. You're up, 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 up. That being the big question. I hope that's been helpful to just address the question in that way. Now, I know naturally, of course, when people put that question into Google and they say, how much does it cost to start a life coaching business? Of course, what they're thinking is money. How much does it cost? Is it 100 quid? Is it 1,000? Is it 10,000? Is it 50 grand? What is it? Who knows? I've answered that question. I've answered the question. The Coaching Masters membership is where you begin the journey of becoming a coach and starting a life coaching business. The Coaching Masters are the only organization in the world, the only coaching organization in the world that have made it that accessible for people that we actually take you on that journey for $9.99 a month, right? We start that journey with you for $9.99 a month. So I can answer that question, right? It's not about tiptoeing around it and not answering the question. I'll answer the question of how much does it cost to start a life coaching business. And the answer is to start that life coaching business and start the journey, it's $9.99 a month. But the much bigger question is, how much time does it cost you to do what you're currently doing? How much energy does it cost you to do what you're currently doing? How much health does it cost you to do what you're currently doing? Those are the much bigger questions. They're the much more significant questions because they are the things that we're going to look back on and wonder whether or not we spent those things wisely just before your life comes to an end, which I know is pretty morbid, it's pretty dark, but there's going to be a time where that happens. There will be a time where you are aware that your life is about to end and you won't look back and think, oh, I wish I had that extra £5 in my bank, or I wish I even had that extra 50 grand in my bank. You're going to be thinking, how did I spend my time? How did I spend my energy? And did I look after my health? Did I add value to people's lives? And did I do what I wanted to do, when I wanted to do it, how I wanted to do it, who I wanted to do it with? That is a much more significant question than how much money does it cost to start the life coaching business, which we've already fixed that. Not a lot. So awesome, guys. I hope that was enjoyable. I hope that was helpful to get a little bit of an insight onto one of the most Googled search terms in the coaching space entirely. So you guys are amazing. I love you all very, very much. Respect you, appreciate you. Thank you for your time. So I'm going to speak to you all very, very soon inside of TCM, inside of the Coaching Masters community for TCM TV. Mwah, mwah. Love you all. Speak to you soon.